Hello everyone and welcome back guys to the SRL Classics Leagues, and today we're here for round 5 of the season, a third of the way already through this championship, and we're here for the Monaco Grand Prix. I'm going to leave you on board with my fastest qualifying lap here in the F2004. In my personal opinion, actually a very fun combination around this circuit. But yeah, I'm going to leave you on board around Monaco with this wonderful V10 engine. Getting very close to that wall on the exit of the final corner, but down towards the line is going to be a 1 minute 11.9, nearly running straight into the back of Gorshkrab as well as I came out of the, as he came out of the pit lane there. But that was good enough for pole position by 3/4 of a second there. So, you know, that filled me with a bit more confidence moving on into this race. We had Langman in P2, Jammy 360 in 3rd, and Kung Fu Kenny Jack down in P4 there. But this race was going to be absolutely crucial in terms of survival. The main aim was to make it to the finish to score points more than anything else. Obviously, I do still need to beat my rival Jack Hopwood. And, you know, we've only got a 4-point lead over him at this moment in time during the season. So, you know, if we can score more points than him, you know, get the gap up to, you know, if we could win and the gap was up to over 10 points, that would be very ideal for me. And I could walk, you know, at this first third of the season very happy. But here we are then, on the grid, ready for the Monaco Grand Prix. It is 5 lights. And it's finally lights out and away we go there. Charlie Whiting seemed to hold it on for absolutely forever there. But down in towards turn 1, we're going to accidentally cut the corner ever so slightly. But we do hold on to the race lead. And that was the most difficult part of the Grand Prix over and done with there. And now, you know, for these first few laps, we definitely need to try and pull out a little bit of a gap. Langman was actually very laggy, I found, on the formation lap. I was getting a little bit worried that, you know, if he was too close behind me and he gave me a bit of a lag punch somewhere, but you know, there's no chance for escape around a circuit like Monaco. As we saw last week at Hungary, you know, he was having a little bit of issues in terms of lag to a lot of the drivers near the front of the field. So yeah, these first few laps were going to have to be, you know, as much as you don't really want to do it around Monaco, these are going to have to be qualifying-esque laps on obviously full race fuel though, so there's going to be a touch of conservatism with it and breaking down in towards the new, I think this is the Nouvelle Chicane, I can never remember many of the corner names around Monaco there, but we do seem to have come out that first half a lap pretty damn clean relative to the rest of the field. Overall, no retirements there in the first half a lap of this Grand Prix, so, you know, that's certainly a bonus here. Actually, one of the best attended races we've had so far this season, so, you know, it'd be quite nice to see how many drivers can make it right through to the very finish there. But out of the final corner to finish a lap 1, and we've already got a little bit of a gap over Langman behind me, obviously set fastest lap there. The gap is 1.8 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, there by the end of a lap 1. And over these next few laps, as I said, you know, it's just about trying to pull away, make myself a bit of a gap in the lead of this Grand Prix. And as you can see, coming through the next few laps, lighting up the timing screens with purple laps, and the gap now in just 5 laps was already up to about 5 seconds there. So we're putting out a second a lap at the moment, and by lap 10, you know, the gap had just extended further and further as we carried on pushing. The gap now 13 seconds to Langman behind me. He was in a bit of a battle with Jammy as well, which, you know, really aided my progress, as, you know, I was still setting purple laps in this Grand Prix here. But it was, you know, the next element of this race was now trying to make sure, you know, we got around the lap cars nice and cleanly. And one of the first ones actually to come across on track was Factual Impala here. Luckily, you know, a lot of these guys very disciplined. So, you know, it's always, you know, nice when they can get out of the way fairly quickly here. You know, no one really wants to be lapped, but sometimes, you know, it's going to happen. As you can see, already in 15 laps, we're down to just 9 drivers in this race. Next up, was Racing Viper Brad, as he's more commonly known there, and he's luckily going to get out of the way just coming up the hill there. I was a little bit worried that he hadn't noticed me for a second there, but luckily he did peel out of the way there, and now you can see we've not got too much track space ahead of me as we've got Overrated Llama here. Well, I think by this point I'd actually already lapped once he's down in P8 of the Grand Prix. Luckily he gets out of the way as well there, so now we've got a bit of track space ahead of me now. You can see the next car up the road was actually coming through Raskas now, so we've got about half a track, where we can try and hopefully, have a bit of clean air, run a bit free over these next few laps here. And now, as you can see, skipping on to lap 19, halfway stage of this Grand Prix here, and it's looking quite good at the moment. We've got about a 25-second lead over Langman behind me here, and as you can see, coming down into the Nouvelle Chicane once more here. The race is getting a little bit laggy here, and it completely freezes. And I have been booted off Xbox Live there. No idea why that's happened there. And at this moment in time, I am frantically trying to get back in the race here. No idea whether I'm going to be able to make it back in or not. And, I'm just trying to ask Jack Hopwood and Overrated Llama in my party, if they can try and get me an invite back into the race. Jack was there like, no, because he'd already crashed out. And, if he didn't actually lose out on as many points, then it would probably be quite a godsend for him at the moment. So, I was looking like I was going to be able to pull out a 29-point lead after this race over him at this moment in time. But whilst all this is going on, we've got to remember, during the race, Langman, he's taking every opportunity at the moment to try and close back down the gap to myself. I'm running at like 80% AI, and, we're all, most of us, fighting, we're about 105, 110 AI level speed here, so it was absolutely crucial, I couldn't hang around too long. Unfortunately for me, Overrated Llama has come in clutch, sending me another invite back into the race there, real thanks for him, if you want to go check out his channel, I'll remember to leave a link down in the description, go say thank you from him, from me even, for getting me back in the race there. But yeah, hopefully, the first question is getting back in the race and being able to spectate. The second question is actually, being able to get back in my car and, being able to drive around this Monaco Grand Prix once more here. And as you can see, fortunately for me, I think I am actually going to get the little message that says, you're now spectating, you can choose to participate at any moment in time, and that is absolutely perfect for me. You see, Faction Impala has actually been there, and now I'm trying to get back on, on board with myself, if you will. Unfortunately, yes, we have made it back into the Monaco Grand Prix. That was very close call, I think, to say the least. End of lap 20, you can see the gap to Langman has actually come back down by about 8 seconds over the course of those 2 laps. So I really, couldn't have afforded to be out of the Grand Prix for much longer than that. But now skipping on to lap 22 of the Grand Prix here. He was still setting purple laps at this moment in time, but by this point of the Grand Prix, it turned into a bit of a race of attrition there. Unfortunately, Brad, a race of Viper, retired on lap 22 of the Grand Prix. We actually had Unzi, who had disconnected as well, so we only really had 6 runners, as well as Langman, who I think by this point had also disconnected. Jammy360 has been disqualified from the Grand Prix, so we're down just now to 4 cars that aren't AI left running in this Monaco Grand Prix. And, this certainly was not the race I'd expected, considering we had the highest attendance so far during this season. For me, all I wanted to do, keep my car on the track here and, just survive these last 8 laps of the Grand Prix. By this point, I had basically a 2-minute lead over Kung Fu Kenny Jack here, so I wasn't really, going to risk that all too much here as we come through the final few corners to finish off another lap of this Monaco Grand Prix. Actually gone purple at this moment in time, so there's still a lot of pace in the car, and I wasn't exactly hanging around, dawdling around this Monaco Grand Prix. I was sort of a bit worried that I may disconnect as well. So, wanted to try and make sure I got this race over and done with nice and quickly there, getting down to a 1 minute 13.3 there. And Kung Fu Kenny Jack now has retired from the Grand Prix, and that leaves us with just myself, IHEs, and Overrated Llama still in this race here. So all of us, were set to be scoring a podium in this Grand Prix there at this moment in time. 7 laps to go of this Monaco Grand Prix. Now it was just absolutely crucial, kept it nice and clean and tidy through these final few laps of the Grand Prix. And now on to lap 39 of the race. I did actually scuff up the right hand side of the front wing there, but through the final corner of the Monaco Grand Prix, even with a disconnect there, we're going to come through to win the Monaco Grand Prix. A bonus 25 points in the bag there, and that is exactly what I needed, to really set myself clear in the title championship. So at the end there, absolutely crucial that I did, you know, make it to the end of that Grand Prix. It was definitely a race of attrition, to say the least there. And, you know, full 25 points in the bag. That means I've now got a 29-point lead over Jack Hopwood. I think next up is Langman, about 50-odd points behind me now. So very, very ideal there. And unfortunately, for overrated Llama, he's not actually going to score any points there, because unfortunately for him, he finished 5 laps down in the Monaco Grand Prix. He therefore did not make 90% of the race distance there. Absolutely gutted for him, you know, not able to make it through there. But as I said, you know, for me, the full 25 points, nothing more, you know, we really could have asked for there. Lapped everyone in that race, even after a disconnect there. But thank you all so much for watching. Do not forget to like, subscribe if you're new around here as well, and if you did enjoy this video as well. You know, hopefully now we can have, you know, a nice title push, you know, get a few more wins under our belt, and hopefully, you know, pull out a bit more of a championship lead. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time for a brand new video.